Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. Wow, the turning point today, and what an interesting transit we are experiencing right now. So let me just bring you up to speed. We are in a very mental pressure to think energy. We have the solar transit in gate 61. It's the gate of the inner truth. And it is in your head center. So there is could be a lot of like sudden light bulb moments or inspirations and downloads, and there is a lot of thinking going on. There could be different themes, and I've already sort of discovered there could be a pressure to think about discovering, your own authenticity. It's all about solving mysteries of life, but there's always a but, right? We can get carried away with this. Not every mystery needs to be solved. I actually have to testify to this because, today spent 2 hours instead of doing things I should do, and I have my list of missions. I spent two hours contemplating about should I change something that I already do very successfully in my business, like on the back end? Should I get like an app for it? And I went into this it was so much thinking about it. Honestly, now when I was, preparing to this for this video, I thought that didn't need to be solved. That is exactly this example of just going into, oh wow, I can do this. And then you go into this rabbit hole of research and you just don't stop. And here's the thing about the mysteries. The mysteries and the downloads and the inspirations that really truly matter, they come to you not when you're busy researching them. They actually come to you when you slow down. And stillness is a huge keyword for this gate 61. So slowing down, whether the pressure to think, it's kind of a difficult one, because it's the source of pushing you into anxiety, frustration, whatever you are. The thing about gate 61, and especially if you have gate 24 in your design, or perhaps you have the whole channel of awareness. I have 24, so right now I'm experiencing this. And this is the channel where you can have the inspirations and you can inspire others through the thought processes. But if you turn it on to within, that's a very dodgy area. That's where you can't figure yourself out, with this. This is where you are becoming an outer authority, or you have a potential to become an outer authority for others. There's a big difference between, and I think that in human design, it's really important to understand this concept of outer authority, is when you can, you get downloads and you can share, provided that it's a projected channel, and it's kind of a gate that you need to have to be recognized. You need to have your timing correct in order for you to share these downloads. Not everything that came into your head, even if it feels fantastic for you now, needs to be shared. And for that, we have Earth in gate 62, which is the gate of returning, but it's actually about the detail. It's a gate of detail. So we manifest these ideas, these thoughts, these inspirations, lean into the detail, and it will become so perfectly clear to you what is worth pursuing, because the 61, this mental pressure, it is also a filter. It is also helping us the inner truth helps us to filter. What's the truth? What is the authentic? What is real? And what is nonsense and false and unimportant? And this is where the gate of detail come in, and then you get to lean into details rather than going straight away and implementing something. Do that little bit of a research, and that's exactly where my 2 hours ended with just making a list, pros and cons, and I could see how so much energy would have been spent, probably not really. There's not that much return from it. It just sounds fantastic, you just get inspired. So lean into the details, because the detail in the gate 62, that's something that can add this authority. This is a throat gate. So it adds this authority and competency, expressing what you want to express, right? So, and I think that for showing up, especially for marketing, for visibility, this is a really cool transit right now. There could be a lot of great insights if you are focusing on, what you can share, what you have to say, rather than to solve your own insecurities or other things, because that could be like a downward spiral. So if you're feeling that you're drawn into, some sort of like an inner search, maybe you can just slow down, accelerate, and remind yourself there is no right now. You need to be still and try and focus on what can you, from this inner truth, what can you broadcast into the world. It's not about what they need to hear. That is not what I'm talking about. It's about you expressing yourself. And I actually truly, in marketing and visibility, I believe that we should be focusing on much more what we have to say than rather than what people need to hear, because otherwise we're just trying to guess, what do they need to hear to open their wallets. That's such a horrible place to create any kind of, to express anything. So yes, so I find that this is a really, really cool channel right now for marketing. Well, not channel, the transit. And then if you have the harmonic gate 24, again, channel of awareness, it's a lot of thinking and thinking outside the box. But God forbid if you're trying to solve your own inner conflicts with this, it's just never going to work. So stop, focus on how can you create out of this space, because it can be really, really amazing. It's such a beautiful energy to explore new ideas, new ways. But again, projected channel, remember, projected channel means the timing and who you're expressing it to is so important. So it requires recognition. If a person, who you, or an audience that you're talking to, if they see you as a guide, please don't hold back. Just, this is the stage for you, right? But if you're talking to someone who is not open, like members of your family, they might love you, but they have no clue what you're talking about. They're not your audience. So just be more choosy who you expressing your insights to this week, right? Lovely, lovely energy, I think, if you use it correctly. And so yeah, I've been having a good time. Anita, what about you? How are you expressing this? Oh, how are you experiencing this?
Yeah, this is a great energy because it's the energy that brings you past the worries and anxieties of actually achieving something. So it's the energy that can connect you to your higher spirit, your higher self, your angels, your guidance, that allows you the perspective to step past the crisis or the anxiety right now. Okay. I call it the genius energy. 6124 is the genius energy. And as Juliette said, it's very easy to get stuck in the detail that can support your victim. Why is this happening to me? Why is it not working? 61, the question is why. And the other side is the gate 62, and you can either pick up all the details of the hurts, or you can start to pick up the details of the inspiration that'll get you through it. Because at the end of the day, to manifest is to make real.
Yeah.
And so I know the word is used a lot, but the definition of manifest is to make real what you want to happen, and to focus on the correct details is going to be a huge thing for us. But there's a lot going on in the transits this week that really do make it a turning point to tune to dissolve that emotional energy. It's full moon today in Cancer, conjunct to Mars. So resolving the energy that has you annoyed, pissed off, frustrated about things not working for you, or that haven't worked in the past, or old hurts around your work, old hurts around relationships. And it's time, and the energy is there to sit back today and take a half an hour for yourself to allow those energies, number one, um, to come up. So you'll find an old memory might crop up that you're still feeling annoyed about. This might have happened 10 years, 20 years ago. Instead of diving into the battle of it, sit back and hold your heart and use the Neptune energy to forgive. Just forgive this and let it off. You know, so many times we hold on to the emotion, and so the unconscious is saying, no, don't take that new action, don't do this, remember what happened the last time. And this is all going on under the radar, but we're being asked today, or highlighted today, where those old stories are, to dissolve that emotional energy so that your genius can shine through. Your genius is now making the decisions, not your old hurts. And there's kind of like, it's like we kind of hold on to it. We don't. Our mind thinks we're sorted, right? Our mind thinks we're done. We're over that. It's not. But the unconscious is going, hang on, hang on. That feels unsafe. That's not, that's the wrong detail. I can't do that. It didn't work the last time. And so with this, it's when we dissolve the energy, we let karma do its job.
Mm.
When people do wrong to us or hurt us, or maybe in the workplace we've had a hurt, or maybe you failed a launch and our launch failed for you and you're still kind of smarting over it or still annoyed over it. Um, just release that energy so that you can, it might have been wrong timing. It may have been nothing to do with you. It may not have been um, um, it may not be anything that was actually in your control at the time. So what'll happen now is that we'll fear and we'll worry and we'll over prepare for this next launch to try to make it a success rather than just sink into your inner guidance. Sink into your yes, no. Sink into the bigger perspective that allows you to see past the smallness of your current crisis. So I hope this is making sense
Yeah.
because it's so powerful to know I can get into the details of the anxiety and the emotional insecurities, or I can turn into this, I can ground into being super intuitive, because that's the other side of the Cancer energy, and let my intuition move past all the amazing business and marketing tools that are out there and into how to adapt them to work best for me. So
Oh, I love
exactly,
that. I love
yeah,
that.
I know, right? So you were describing just that earlier. You were saying, oh, I was looking at this new way of doing something, and in the end of the day, it would have been a lot of work for very little return. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Mm.
Dive, lean into your wisdom on this. And instead of like weeks trying to work it out, an hour, half an hour, going, yeah, pros and cons, okay, that's great. And it's not worth the effort. That's really so
It's
important.
so often that it happens to us. I see it so often, we get excited. And when I say we, it's me, just as much as, people I work with, or, I just observe this. People get so excited at the perspective of getting more ease, for example, getting more automation, getting more, working less and getting more done or getting more results. And nothing's wrong with that. This is what we should be doing. We should be, as projectors, both of us, like we're good at efficiency because we don't have access to, consistent energy, no matter how we're into something. We just don't have that very often, right? So how do you work with this trajectory? And it's so interesting because, you get excited and you think, oh, this is going to be so good because this is going to add more ease. So maybe I can rest more, maybe I can garden more, maybe I can do something else more or not do more. And yet, not every idea is worth pursuing because there's a lot of hidden details. For example, yes, it might overall give, you some ease, but maybe it's going to make you look like everybody else because you've automated and you use some tool that everybody else is using, because, you're not the only one who came across and thought this is amazing. Or maybe customizing this will take you so long, it's actually going to exhaust you to the point of sabotaging yourself. When that happens in business, I am sure, like I'm going to raise two of my hands. I've been there too many times where you have a great idea, you're developing it, but then you're overextending yourself and developing the idea or materials or whatever it requires or customization of it, that when it comes to actually selling it, you're just not into it anymore. It just killed you. And it's so interesting. I actually seen this in my late husband Les, who was a music producer, and he would work with this song and he would like tweak it over and over again, thousands of times. He would listen to the same passage or the whole song. He would hate that song at the end. It was good. It's good that he wasn't the person who would promote it, right? It was just producing it. But he would get so sick of the song. And that's what happens to us, but we can't just pass it on. If you're a solopreneur, it's on to you. You have to have the energy. That's why this transit right now, it's so good. Slow down. You have these ideas, you will have them. Slow down. Maybe write this in a very still kind of state, that's when you can look at the details in a more sober kind of way.
Mm.
Look at the details, right? What it's going to cost you, not money wise, but energy wise, mental energy wise. What are you going to gain? You will see so clearly whether things, no matter how on the surface level they are attractive, how are they going to, you know, are they worth it? And you know what? You might find that, yeah, maybe you're thinking that you're going to look the same as everyone else, but this actual automation or whatever you're looking at, maybe that will increase the ability for you to customize it in a way that is really unique. So,
Yeah.
but you don't know until you slow down to think about it.
That's a really good point because look at how the head and ajna works. In human design, it shows us how we process information. So if you have an open head and ajna, the chances are that that idea that it might not be inspiration. It might just be that you've picked up someone else's
Yeah.
idea. So you need to be very careful to connect that to your yes, no, to make sure that it's correct for you. And with the defined head and ajna, we can be convinced that what we're thinking is right.
Yes.
Convinced, right? And so we go on those details. And actually, the first question I ask myself now with the defined head and ajna is when I get what I think is inspiration, I say, is that true inspiration for me? Is that true for me, for my business, rather than, and I qualify the idea so
Yeah.
that, as you say, either I act on it, or I don't. Because in this energy, we're going to feel significant pressure to take action on that emotional energy, and the details that support that. So sit back, zip it for a day or two, just reconnect with those feelings, but let them complete so that they're not continually determining your actions moving forward. Because
That is
other,
so, you just mentioned something. I want to just kind of interrupt you because you just said emotional energy. And this is something we just talk about, the sun, the gate and the earth grounding it. But actually it's really important to mention that we also have channel 3536, which is an emotional energy right now. It's the energy of building and expectations and then crashing. And also with the 35, and I know that energy because it's like part of it's my design sun. It's like, what's next, okay, I've done, been there, done that, what's next? It's not a good energy if you're using it incorrectly, because also then fueled by 36 going from your emotional, it's a big wave. It's like building expectations, it's going to be great, 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 and then just crashing. It's not a great feeling energy. So you might have those moods, this transit specifically, because this is the transit activates that channel. And I think it's really important to just catch yourself when you're building expectations and just come back to neutrality. Also, when you're feeling the crash, just come back to neutrality with your mind. Just remind yourself, this is also the transit. This is not real. This is not like a real big crash or disappointment. If you feel it, don't believe it, right? It's just the influence. It's just the influence. We can, I think that even when with this current design, like the channel of awareness, if you have the gate 24, the whole channel is activated 6124. It really is, the kind of channel is you have to just understanding that if you focus on solving your own problems, right? With this, your own feeding your own frustrations and anxieties with this energy, just understanding that this is the channel that makes you do it. It's a huge, huge power. It's a huge power that
yeah,
you can become a more neutral or just gain control a little bit more over this.
that's so true because that 24, the 6120, the 24 is the gate of rationalization. You can not only be insecure and focusing on the details that say no, don't do it, you can rationalize them really well to yourself. You can
Yes.
justify and you can prove to yourself, this is absolutely true. This is absolute. It's a, it's not true. It's not true. It's the old emotion that's driving you to create the new experience from the old emotion, which is doing the same thing, expecting a different response, right? So that's where the genius comes. You can't solve the problem from the level that it was created. So really when you do shift your energy back into balance and composure and genius, it's a different level at which, and this is the beauty of the 61, it brings you into a different perception and ability to perceive something new. And that brings you through. And it's so cool for our manifesting. But, it's to know how to use this. And I think this is a super recording today because we literally have included your design, the transits, what you'll expect, how to move through. And this is very powerful energy.
It really is true. It really, really is true. Guys, thank you so much again for being with us during this video. We love doing this. We're now probably coming up to like definitely over half a year doing this. Maybe even,
Yeah.
three quarters of a year we're doing this. And this is absolutely empowering. And sometimes, we can meet up and we say, I'm struggling during this weekend, this transit, because not everyone experiences, I might be like really inspired this week, but you might be really anxious.
Mm.
And we're just hoping to give you both sides and see how you can be in control, because recognizing what's going on is already so much control. And then you can step back and you can see, okay, how can I play with this? How can I use this to my advantage? How can I empower myself even though it feels hard? Or how can I just take a break and be still? And you never know, when you slow down, these miracles do happen. So thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you in the next transits and tactics video.